This is an amazing, amazing book. And I have read this book, I think, few times, like two. Well, of course, for this, I read it again. And Brian, have you read this book? Because I know you were a spiritist for a long time.
No, this one I've not. I've done Paul and Stephen 2,000 years ago and 50 years later, but not the other ones.
Oh,
so I'm wondering if this is the mysterious third one of the Emmanuel of his life.
Yes, this is a beautiful, beautiful story. So the idea of the book club is really not for me to be reading the book with you guys. Is the idea is really for you to read the chapter, and then we can meet twice a month, and then we can comment. I remember when we met with Gina Tuesday, she said that she read the first chapter and she got very confused because there were so many things that were the words were very complicated and she couldn't understand. And some books they have a language that's complicated, mostly in Portuguese. In English, I find them really easy because they change the vocabulary and they make the vocabulary like easier for us for everybody to understand. So today I would like to talk about the initial portion. That's my English version disappeared from my computer because I had the PDF. So I have my Portuguese version. Oh, wait a minute. I have my notes.
By the way, Gina's still working, and she said, "Then I read the chapter," but I told her, "Join later."
Come on. But okay, thank God I marked my book, but I took notes because if I haven't taken notes, forget about my book disappeared. So the first portion that's called, I don't know how it's in English. Mine is Old Memories. How is it translated in the English? The page 5.
The same.
Old Memories. Yes. Okay, so this portion, that's what Brian was mentioning. This talks about a priest called Damiano in Portuguese, and this is one of many lives of the spirit Emmanuel, who is the mentor of Chico Xavier, this Brazilian medium who was very, very famous. So Emmanuel, he was a priest in few of his lives, and this is one of his life. And then when he started talking about the sweet angel, this beautiful girl, he's talking about the life of this girl, this girl that is a very enlightened spirit. And he had the opportunity of meeting her in one of his reincarnations. Did you guys get this? Did you understand this idea? That was it was one of the previous lives of Emmanuel. I wonder if it's clear to everybody. I know
it was not clear to me.
No,
I knew because you told us the story, but that was the only reason I knew so far.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the little tiny part that talks about the Padre Damiano is really Emmanuel, the spirit, telling when he was incarnated in one of his incarnations, he met Alcyone, this bright and lighted spirit. And then he talks a little bit about how she was when she was young, so sweet, and always trying to help everyone. So this is like his experience with her. And then he mentioned also that later on, he was able to understand her life story. He really had somehow he discovered her life story of abnegation. And then he decided to write this book just like for her, like a little gift, a simple literary gift that he could give about her life. So this is just the beginning of the book. So, and then we go to the first part, sacrifices of love. I don't want to be talking here because I'm here to listen. If I am talking here, it's like, okay, it's boring. It's much more interesting when you guys talk and we can all comment. So, Julio, come on, you start. What about the first chapter? What did you see? What you understood, or what you want to share? So we all can put a little portions of what we understood or not, and then we can talk.
Yes, the first chapter describes. I don't have my notes. I don't know the name of the guy that was like I will not say boyfriend, but you know, someone very special for Alcione. That is
Pollux.
What is his name?
His name is Pollux.
Pollux. Yes. My version is in Portuguese. I can't see his name here. So, but he, what I remember, yeah, that he is in the umbral in this moment, and he is in the moment before happens a reincarnation for him, and in this moment, Alcione comes and they speak a little about I'm afraid about this new opportunity to go to reincarnate, and then Alcione said that I think that I'm going to
before we go into their meeting. That's very powerful. Let's go back a little bit, just a little bit, because
one part that I think that is important for me, this, because I try to summarize the chapter. Maybe we don't want to summarize. We want to discuss in more details each part. Yes. Maybe this is the goal, not summarize. In the meeting, in the beginning, some spirits are discussing about let me see if I remember. They are discussing about the tasks and duties in Earth, and one part that for me was interesting, that a guy, I don't remember the name, said something about, I'm worried because when we incarnate, we forget everything. Yeah. And this part, specifically this part, is something that always disturbed me, because I think that I will have the same feeling, because before knowing Spiritism, I was afraid about death, and the thing that I was super afraid was, wow, when I die, maybe I will, everything that I have now, I will lose. This is what I was worried about. And I was thinking, after, of course, I have contact with the Spiritism, and I start to understand more about the spiritual life. One thing for me that, even though Spiritism, that it was difficult for me to, I will not say accept, but was painful for me, is to think that, maybe, because what we say in the Spiritism, when we die and we go to spiritual life, is we have a kind of wake up. Yes, then we have the opportunity to remember previous lives and everything. So, and this brings to me a kind of relief, because, oh, okay, I will remember everything. My life will continue, and will be better because I will remember previous things. Okay, but then I start to think, oh, but when we reincarnate, happens what I was afraid about, that I will lose all my memories. I will lose all my knowledge. I will lose everything because I'm reincarnated. It's a kind of death, you know. When you reincarnate, it's a kind of death for the spirits.
Yes.
You know? And there are some discussions here about why this is important, because, of course, oh, if we remember everything, maybe we will not accept our relatives, wife, and daughters, and so. This
Yeah,
is the part that I think that we can discuss.
You remembering that your daughter, your difficult daughter in this life, is your ex-wife from the previous reincarnation.
No, the explanation in the book saying that oh, it's better to forget, do not remember, because if you remember, will be a mess. Everybody will be a problem. But in the same time, okay, I understand this point of view, but I still don't get it, because if we have a planning, sometimes we discuss that we are supposed more or less to know what we are supposed to do here. If we forget everything, it's something like, why I did a plan. I know why you will answer that, because you will say that no, there are a plan just to see, because we needed to go through some challenges just to see if we really learned what we were supposed to learn, or what we said that we learned. The way that to test if we really learn it is, okay, go in the situation. It's better that you don't know that you are in a test, and then we will see if you really will pass or not. So please continue, you guys, because I talk about a lot.
Brian, do you wanna help Julio with his issue of memory?
Well, that's, like I said, I'm still following along with him too. But yeah, it is that thing was like, here, this is an interesting one, because you're now doing it from the point of view of somebody that's been there and now they're about ready to come back. Whereas compared to like us, we're going to try and cross over, and it's a bit more where it's like we're sitting like, oh, we open there and we're going to be brought together with everything that we did and all the pain that we suffered. And all the things that we caused, but now it's like, it's flipping it around. It's like, okay, now they're going to lose their memory. They're going to come back to it. But the one thing that got me from this was the shock, how they had the terror, like they went through the pain of death, but they went through the pain of birth, which was new to me. I didn't understand that one.
Yes, that's very interesting. That's very interesting, because I don't know if everybody read the full chapter 1. Everybody here, you read the full chapter? No. Well, when we go ahead, you will see that. Well, I don't want to jump into this right now, because I want to discuss other things before, and then we can jump in the pain of reincarnation. That's very similar of the pain of dying in the physical realm. That's what Brian is discussing. But before we go, Tina, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about what Julio was mentioning. I think that it's better that we forget, because if not, right now we would have a lot of people trying to get in contact with us. They would drive us crazy. We as humans wouldn't be able to exist with a normal life. People would be walking around with all kinds of spirits trying to get in contact with them, even if they're not, because I have a friend, or had a friend, that passed away, and he knew he was going to die. He had terminal cancer in his intestines. And he told me that he would try every which way that he could to come back and get in contact with me. And so I feel that the only reason that he hasn't, and of course, you know, other people I've lost many people in my life. I feel that they haven't been able to, and it's not because they don't want to, it's because they forget. It's not something that is so present in their memory who I am for them to be able to come back. Well, maybe yes, maybe no, but I think it's better for mankind that's alive, that the people that have gone before, that they don't remember. I think it's a better thing.
Yeah.
Personally.
What happened is that when first of all, when we die and we go into the spiritual realm, we remember many things that we wanted to do. But as you said, sometimes we cannot do what we wanted. Like, for example, maybe he told his spiritual guide, who is responsible for his new life in the spiritual realm, oh, I want to go back and I want to send a message to my friend Tina. I want to talk to her. And maybe the spiritual guide said, you cannot. This is not the time. You need to do this, and this later on. Who knows? Or maybe they didn't find a medium that would be able to help. Or maybe you couldn't meet in the dreams. So many things could happen. But when we are in this program, we remember. We don't remember when we come back to Earth. For example, Tina doesn't remember who Tina was in a previous life. Tina doesn't remember if met Angy in a previous life. Don't remember if...
How could you forget that?
I know, right?
So we don't remember lots of things, and and it would be wonderful if we could remember the good things. Would be wonderful if we could remember, like, oh my God, Julio was my real brother in my previous life. But wouldn't be nice if I remember that Julio killed me in my previous life.
Oh Lord.
Wouldn't be good. Would be hard.
No.
To befriend him. I'm like, my God, he killed me in a previous life. Maybe
there would be a lot of people dying in this life if that was true, because, oh, you killed me in the previous life, I'm going to get you this time. You imagine? So that wouldn't be a good thing.
This is why it's the logic that we don't remember. And then, because as you mentioned, if we remember, we would be taking certain actions or not taking actions because of that. Imagine I have a first impression that I don't like that person, and immediately I see what that person did to me in my previous life. We would never exercise the power of forgiveness. We would never try to make amends because, no, this one, no, get out. We are ready that we
I was going to say this. I'm sorry. I was going to say the spirits even say that in the chapter before they separate and let Pollux be in by himself. They bring that up about the forgetfulness.
Yes, exactly. So just the portion of the beginning of the book is the mentor that is talking to the spirits that are in the lower zones, as Julio mentioned. And they are discussing about the future difficulties, because I don't know if you guys paid attention, but that group, that specific group they are talking to, they were all priests that failed. So they are all priests. They were all connected to the church, and they made horrible mistakes in their previous lives. And it was not one time. They had done this previously at other times, and that they also fail. So this is one of the things. And they are all discussing about the future difficulties. They are all afraid of what they will have to come back to go through. And then they mention the loss of memory. That's very bad. They don't want to lose the memory, because when they are in the spiritual realm, they understood their mistakes. They understood they will have to go through difficulties. They understood it will be better for them. And that they have, as they mentioned, they have strength that a faith that was like solidifying this return. But when they are going to come back without the memories, they all are afraid of the future. They are always in fear. That's the beginning of the meeting. And,
Exactly.
and then this man that Julia was mentioning, that was the lover, the love of the life of Alcyone. His name is Pollux, and he's one of them. He's one of them. And they all leave, like the mentor tells them, okay, now we have to go. We have to prepare for the reincarnation. And Pollux remains there alone, meditating, thinking, and he's afraid. And he starts thinking about the love of his life, in one of his lives, that he made lots of mistakes against her. That's the problem. And she was such a sweetheart, and he remembers that she was so amazing, and he made her to go through pain. So he's thinking of her, and then he started praying. He started praying for her, and then she appears. Yvonne, did you read this portion? Do you remember this portion?
Yes. But before you go there, I also wanted to mention the contrast between the first chapter and the beginning of the second. The first chapter, it's about kindness and compassion and love. And then you start the second chapter and it's darkness and, cold. And it's such a contrast that, it's kind of sets the scene. So Emmanuel is doing a good job of, writing the story.
Yeah, John would say that's a nice soap opera.
It is. Yes, so Pollux starts praying and crying, but what he doesn't see is that there's a light that's coming from above, or the heavens.
Yes.
It detaches, and it is this beautiful young lady or woman, Alcyone. And when Pollux starts saying, oh, I wish I could just see her once, she appears.
Exactly.
And it's a beautiful moment, and he is so choked up over it. And what is interesting, he's still focused on the physical attraction, I think, of her. And she keeps redirecting him. Let us pray to Jesus.
Yes.
Let us
like, no, I want to kiss. And she's like, wait.
Yes. Yeah, let us kiss Jesus's feet. Never mind, But in the end, she does allow. So at the same time, when that's happening and they're reconnecting and they are, she is still very attracted to him. They're a pair. They're soul twins or whatever that expression is. And so he realizes he has to. Well, she came to tell him that he's going back to Earth. He's going to reincarnate, and he wants her to come with him.
Exactly.
And she wants to go too. I mean, but she also has to hear. He has to tell her that he has repented of the things he had done in the past, and that if he goes back to Earth, it's for his own development first before they can be together in the future. So he has to evolve before they can actually be together in the future, many lifetimes in the future, I guess. So.
Yes, that's exactly the point. This is perfect, because Pollux, in his mind, many things in his mind. He is still very physical, first of all, we need all to understand here that Pollux is in the lower zones of the planet Earth. So he's still a spirit that needs to evolve a lot. He's still full of passions and all kinds of problems. And Alcyone is a very enlightened spirit because she went through all kinds of negative things that the Pollux imposed on her, and she went through this pain in a positive way, more or less how it will happen in this book. But I'm not going to say what's going to happen. But lots of problems will happen again because Pollux loves her in the physical sense, and she loves him in the spiritual sense. She loves him in any way, but he's still very much physically attached. And when he reincarnates, he forgets about all the promise that he made to improve and to be a better person. There is a portion that Pollux mentions that when she's talking to him, he wants her to reincarnate, exactly like Yvonne said. But in his mind, if she reincarnates and they meet in the spiritual realm, they will finally be happy forever and ever and after. That's his understanding. But she is telling him it's not going to be like this because she knows how much he needs to learn, how much he needs to improve. And she knows his next reincarnation will be a reincarnation of tasks and atonements. That means it's not going to be an easy one. It's going to be a difficult one. And then she tells this to him. And he basically says, oh, I know. And he says, oh, I chose to be lonely. I chose to have a, I don't even know if I wrote here, but he wrote many things that he chose to be
celibate because he was a priest.
Yes, exactly. He chose to be celibate, but in that moment, he doesn't remember that point because in his mind, he's still going to be with her somehow, but he chose to be lonely. He chose to have no family, no kids, and to have a life of difficulties because he needed that to become a better person. So this is everything he is mentioning at that moment, that it will be good, and then comes to the point that Brian mentioned. He said, "Oh, I want to kiss you. Can you kiss me? I miss you. Oh my God!" And she's like, "Wait, calm down. Let's kiss Jesus." I can just imagine him like, what? And then she does a beautiful prayer, and then they pray together, and she knows this is his time to go. And that's when Brian said, Pollux immediately said, I feel some kind of pain. I feel strange. Something is happening. What is that? And then he started telling her, I feel strange. I don't feel good. Sandra, did you read this portion? This is a very touchy moment.
I did read. I'm actually like on the 4th, so I'm kind of like a little fuzzy on the beginning. But yeah, I remember him saying that he was feeling something weird, and in my mind, I thought he was starting to get into the process of reincarnation.
Yes, you're right. You were right. That's exactly what Brian was saying, that when we are here on earth and we are dying, whatever is the death, it's always painful. Even for those people who die sleeping, they felt something, but they were sleeping, but they felt something. And that's the same process there to come back here. Of course, if we are more evolved, it's different. is not the same, but we are talking about Pollux, who is a spirit in the lower zones, full of difficulties and problems. So he's pretty much connected to Earth. So this moment of a pain that he's feeling dizzy and he's feeling weird, the description even feels like he's having a heart attack. That's like the sensation that I had when he's describing it. And then he tells her, I'm hearing voices. It's like it seems someone is calling me. And she mentions, yes, they are calling you. It's because there is a program. So there are spirits that are the ones who take care of each one of us. And that they were taking him and the other group of spirits to reincarnate. So the process of reincarnation is something, it's not like automatic. It takes some time. And we need to adjust our perispirit, as we study in the Spiritist Center. It has to shrink, to be smaller. So this also takes time to be smaller, to become the little tiny baby. So these things start happening. So this is very interesting, because most of us, we think, oh, we don't even really know how is the process of coming back. But that's how it is. Coming back is like this. It's painful. So this is the one of the portions that he started talking there. And the other portion is like when Pollux goes, she does the beautiful prayer. She kisses him, and then he kind of faints, and then he's taken out of her because he is going to the process of reincarnation. And then now we have the second part of the first chapter. The second part of the first chapter is when Alcyone is gonna pledge to come back to Earth, because it's almost like imagine you are in a place that's total paradise. You are your life is perfect. You are in a beautiful college, working towards the enlightenment of humanity, and suddenly you are pledging to come back to a place of pain and suffering and all kinds of difficulties. So her spiritual guide is like, what? But you are working here to help them. And she's like, no, I really want to go back there. So this is the point that I don't know if any of you have read this portion when she's advocating for herself. Tida, have you read this portion of when Alcyone is talking to her mentor to come back to Earth? I don't know if you read this.
Actually, no, because I just got the book and I just came out of work when I got on.
Wow!
Yes.
Wow!
So I didn't get to read it. I'm actually trying to get through it now, but I'm going to read it though. This weekend, I'll read it. I'll read both chapters.
Oh, good. This is a beautiful portion, because this is we can go into deep details in the next meeting, because the idea is like twice a month we comment one chapter, but the first chapter is small, so it's very easy. The second chapter is a bigger chapter. It's a lot of items. So when you guys go to read, don't leave it one day before, because you're not gonna make it. It's some chapters are like 10 pages, other chapters are 25 pages. So we can discuss in the other meetings about the second portion. But what would you like to talk about? Shemay, you were too silent.
Yeah, I know. I only got through half. I've had the book, but I just didn't take the time, and it had been about a week or two. So I only got through about half, but I was excited reading it because I could tell, even though it was a little funny for me to understand, you know, but I still had the gist of it. It helped that you had told me what you did.
It will be easier later on. It will be easier to understand it. But what we were talking in the center Tuesday, we start talking about twin souls. And pretty much is what is happening with these two. And as you can see, they are different because she's almost like an angel and he's almost like down there. But they love each other. She loves him and she understands of his problems, but she loves him so much. And he loves her and he adores her like she's an angel. But he cannot change his misbehaviors to be able to improve faster. But even like that, they still complement each other. So what we were talking in the Spiritist Center about the twin souls, that a lot of people think that, oh, we are an apple. Well, I don't have an apple. I have an orange. And the people say, oh, I need to find the half of my orange. And many times people spend their whole life trying to find the half of their orange. But in reality, this idea that we were created and there is one other soul that is our exactly match, it's not true in this. It's not true in the sense that this exists. Like if I don't meet that person, I can never be happy. Throughout our lives, we meet many people that we like, we admire. But throughout our lives, we also have issues. We have issues with whoever we find. So it depends a lot on us and also in the other person. We all know relationships are difficult. So imagine the case of these two. She's an angel and he's a total opposite. It's like, when I read that, I'm like, my God, why she's wasting her time? I would have to move on to the next one. And she's still there. She's still like, okay, Pollux, again, I'm going to come back for you. Oh my God. It's hard. Alcione needs an advisor.
They do a good job, though, right? You know, from the start at hooking you, I believe, right? I mean, definitely.
Yes. No, it's like we all have this, and you know, we all had many different relationships, and some easier, other more difficult. Not just love relationships, but even friends. You know, sometimes we have friends that we love so much, but the first time some kind of difficulty happens, this friend that used to be a really good friend just becomes that little monster that don't understand you and behaves like you are like an evil person. And this is so upsetting. Because you have someone, imagine you have someone that it's like your best friend, you confide whatever, the person too, but at the moment that a problem happens, that person changes totally and is not able to think about all the good things that you both went through, just focus on what is negative. And this is very common. This is very common. That's why so many friendships are dissolved, so many marriages fall apart. Of course, there are so many other issues too. But these are some.
There's even a name for it called fair weather friends.
What is the name?
Fair weather friends. They're only your friends in fair weather. But as soon as the skies get gray and cloudy, they disappear.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know this expression. Yes. Yes. That's sad, because you know, real friends are the ones that have to go through through hurricanes together, because when the Christmas party or the birthday party arrive, that's just a plus. That's what we always say, that the real friends you can count in the fingers of one hand, not even two hands. One hand only. Because when you're going through financial difficulties, health difficulties, whatever is the problem, there are very few people that you can say, I can call this person and this person will at least listen to me. Because sometimes also we feel like, oh my God, I can't call anyone because I don't want to bother the person. I don't want the person to feel obligated to help me. I don't want to. So we also start thinking, oh, I'm not going to do it because of this. But the thing is, like, we usually do this with our family. That's why family is a bonding that's so strong, because usually, unfortunately, it's not every family like this, but usually you call your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, and even if they are far from you, they will pick up the phone, they will listen, they will try to help you, they will try to guide you. That's why in Spiritism, the family is so important, because when we are going through all kinds of issues, family that we connect. And of course, in the situation of Pollux, for example, he didn't do well with a family in the previous life. He did all kinds of problems. And that's why in this one, he's not going to have a family. So there are reincarnations that are more difficult because of that. People don't really have a family. For example, my brother-in-law, he has no one, nothing, zero. His father died when he was a child. His mother died a few years ago. He's the only child. Both of his parents were the only child. So there is no family, no back, no. You're like, oh my God, this is sad. When you think you don't even have a cousin. I'm like, you don't even have a cousin? But there are people that are like this. So it's more difficult. It's more challenging. But this is why it's so important for us to build up real friendships. So when we build up real friendships, we know we can count on that person. So this is the big lesson that we have. So I don't want to talk about the second portion, because I would like you all could read the second portion of chapter 1. I know some of you already read, so you read again. So next time that we meet, I would like you to tell us and the second part. So two people who would like to tell us about the second portion of the book? The second portion of the first chapter? Okay. Okay, Shemaine. Who else? Yeah, Sandra, will be you. That would be a good job.
I was trying to look away, but I guess he caught me.
I know Yvonne.
Doesn't Tina have her hand up?
Yeah, Tina has her hand up.
Brian probably already read. Tina just bought the book, so poor Tina. I can't make her that. But it's just few pages. Would be great.
Longings of youth?
We are still in the first chapter, so I just would like you could just like you both could do the summary of when Alcyone talks to her spiritual mentor. Is in the second half of the chapter 1. And then we can already go in chapter 2, because it's just a little portion. So you both will summarize this little tiny portion, and then we dig in chapter 2. So Tina, don't forget chapter 1 and chapter 2, because we are advancing. We are advancing.
Nice.
My friends. Yes, Brian?
Oh, I was going to just mention one little something I just noticed. Since I just finished the book Planetary Transitions from Divaldo Franco, it's kind of an interesting coincidence that in the planetary transitions, the spirits that are here to guide us to the new next level of our evolution for the planet also came from planet Alcyone.
Yeah, yes.
It's the same name, and yet when you and when we were talking about the second part, it sounds like Alcyone is not limited to Earth, and it's very possible. I'm wondering if she's coming from the same place as all these other spirits.
Yes, I think so.
Food for thought, but I'm sure it's a pure coincidence, but it's still an interesting thing to think about.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. No, and it's amazing when they describe the stars that she comes from. It's like the life is so different. The lifestyle on Earth, everything is so, it's like a bliss. You know, every detail. In the book that Kardec wrote about about his mediumistic meetings. Then there is a portion they describe this enlightened worlds and how different it is from here. There is no hatred; it's just love. Everybody help each other. We can read our thoughts because everyone thinks good things. There is no negative things and so many other things. So when those enlightened beings reincarnate on Earth as a mission, because that's one of the things will be discussed in the half of the chapter 1, they come here as a mission to help us. And we feel it. You know, there are many spirits that they are so, like Mother Teresa of Calcutta, like the whole planet met her because of her love of abnegation, how keeping she was. So there are really spirits that are really amazing and so superior and very, very, very interesting. So Brian, the girls are going to do half of chapter 1. Brian and Julio, you work on half of chapter 2. So be prepared. We'll be really will be more dynamic. And then Yvonne, Tina, and myself, we can just ask questions to them.
Okay.
When is the next one? Next Thursday?
2 weeks.
Next one is, let me see, I even wrote here, it's not the next week, but it is
14.
14. Okay. So you guys have a lot of time. So Tina, don't come back here saying you forgot to read.
I promise I won't. I'm gonna read it this weekend.
Awesome.
Promise.
You're gonna love. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. Beautiful.
By the way, I'm not gonna go to Puerto Rico, so I'm gonna come over and do something. I don't know what.
Awesome. So you
watch
to the performance?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go.
We need backup dancers. We need
you've got rhythm.
A little bit.
Yvonne and Brian, I'm organizing a performance in the nursing home this Sunday. And there's going to be a big performance with lots and lots of things. It's going to be so much fun. We have some friends that are going to be performing Madonna. Shemaine, what is the name of the lady you're performing? You are
Leslie Gore.
Look at that. I had never heard.
I saw that. I watched the video.
Oh, I know that one.
Brian. Bye,
Oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to the videos. I want to see.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Sandra's gonna be a ballerina, so everybody's gonna be doing something cool. It's gonna be really.
It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. Yes.
Julio's a backup
the
dancer.
practice.
Yeah, Julius backup dancer for all the dances.
Oh my God, no! I will be the volleyball player.
Maya, you should come, Maya. You should come and dance something.
So wait a minute. So is the rehearsal going to be on Saturday, or when is it?
So
no?
Saturday, yes. Saturday we are gonna rehearse at your home, yes.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, so
Okay,
we're gonna rehearse the ballerina movements, then samba and salsa. My goodness, too many. Whoa,
That should be fun.
Matthew just came, but we are almost leaving. Hey Matthew, you just arrived, but we basically finished. We were just saying goodbye here.
Goodbye.
So next meeting we can meet again. So we are just finalizing. Who would like to do a prayer, a Thanksgiving prayer for the first meeting? 3, 2, 1. Okay, Yvonne. Very good. Thank you. I give a chance for you guys. You don't do it.
Okay, let's just center ourselves. Holy Father, Master Jesus, this is such a blessing to be able to get together again as a group. Thank you. I'm being selfish here. We look forward to reading this book and getting insights for our own lives. We thank the good spirits that were here with us, and we pray for those that could not attend tonight. We send them blessings. Dear Lord, help us to be vigilant, help us to be compassionate of others, to be of service to others. And thank you. We are so grateful for the many blessings that we have. And bless all of us that are here. And so be it.
So be it.
Thank you.
Very good. It was awesome to see you all. I can't wait to continue reading the book. You are going to love it. And I'm glad that we are doing it, because I never realized it could be difficult, as you guys mentioning that you couldn't understand certain things. So I'm happy we are doing as a group, so it's easier for everybody. Have a great night. And
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, Brina.